What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well wherever you are tuning in to this real quick overview in reference to Learn AI. My name is Dwayne Ross, D. Ross. I am the author of the book No More Crumbs, celebrating you discovering your tag, your talent, your ability, your gift, and putting it to work in the earth. And today I decided to go live in reference to this area of AI use, right? Where there's case uses for individuals to really figure out like what do they want to learn about using AI. Now, some of you have just been, excited about it. Others have been afraid of it. And then even at my job, there's no policies in place. So we're kind of stuck behind the eight ball. Let me stop sharing real quick and come on here. And hello there, Sonia. Hi. Hi, Tower Route. It's good to see you. Glad that you're here today. And I know you are an amazing GPT solutionist. I love that title, and AI strategist and consultant. So I personally really admire all those people that have decided to take AI by the horns and actually get in there and get their hands dirty and kind of, learn what it is. So what prompted you to come to tonight to this event?
Well, I kind of wanted to see, what you were doing. I know that we've spoken several times, and I know that you were working in this space, and I am an avid learner. So anywhere that I can go and pop in and learn a little something, I am willing and ready to do that.
Well, good. This is definitely for the beginner, for the person who has that new, learning mind that's
Mhm,
looking at it and saying, "Is this something I want to do, or what is it?" Right? And
mhm.
so you'll hear some things that you probably already are familiar with. You'll see some things that you already seen or know about. But I appreciate you being here to support as I move forward and share this information with those who will see the replay, because I will
Absolutely.
definitely provide that to individuals so that they can see the replay. And then, of course, this is like a teaser for me because I wanted to just get my, get how you get the jitters out. I just wanted to get it
Mhm,
out and get something out there that I can, start making some moves toward, right?
mhm.
And I heard this guy say, done is better than perfection. So don't try to
Right,
get it perfect, get it
right.
done, right? And so I started moving toward that. And I said, well, I had a little life event that's getting ready to happen in my life. And I said, well, before that goes forward, let me go ahead and take some time and just get out here and let people know what I'm doing. So I'm going to be behind the scenes a little bit, sharing some different things, and then we'll
Okay,
talk from there. Okay.
okay.
So what do you guys know about AI, right? What is it about artificial intelligence that has people so afraid? Well, one of the things that I found out is that they're afraid because they just don't know, right? And when you don't know something, more than likely, there's a intrepidation in order to move forward. And so tonight, this is just to kind of get your feet wet, just kind of talk about some things around the user side. Now, I do know that there are some frameworks around safety. I know that there's some frameworks around policy. I know that there's some frameworks about securing your data and making sure that data doesn't get into the wrong hands. There are countless individuals right now that are positioning, jockeying, creating just to get a hold of your data. And so we're not talking about that tonight. Now, Microsoft has a current event going on in Seattle, but they do some of it live. So if you go to Microsoft, you can go to their website, and they actually have where their developers are actually learning and talking about what the next steps look like. So, and security and things of that nature are talked about. But what I want to talk about is the end user, like what's the case use that you have? So I'm in learning and development. Some people are in education. Some people are in, and I think Sonia, you're in education, right? And so um, being in these different industries, the idea is how can this impact me, right? And you hear Wall Street saying people going to lose their jobs. You hear people saying, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job, right? You have all those kind of things going on. And so, what we really want to talk about is the fact that it's augmenting your job, right? Or it might create a new job for you. And if you understand how to put your hands in and start getting out of it what you really want, that's going to really change how you look at this idea of artificial intelligence. Now, it's been around for years, right? Since the 70s. As a matter of fact, there's a group of people that have been studying it and doing all types of things in bringing it to the public. And over the years, they said it was going to change the world, and nothing happened. Then they said it was going to revolutionize the world, and nothing happened. And then they said it was going to just take the world by storm, and nothing happened. But then 2020 hit, 2021 hit, and people had a chance to really kind of, think and be silent about some things. And out of it came ChatGPT, an open source, open AI, right? And when people saw it, they were like mesmerized by the fact that it actually can change the world. And for some of us, it's going to change everything that we do. If you've noticed anything or you've been in any website, even just getting a sandwich at a sandwich shop, you are working with a bot, and that bot is taking an order and then sending that information to a human, and then they're processing the order. And in some cases, the computer is doing it. So we've been working with it forever. Some of you have Siri in your house. Some of you have Alexa or whatever you want to call them, right? You have Ring on your wall, at the front door. You've used a number of different products that come from Amazon, right? Where they've been training their bots to do all types of things, and you think you're talking to a human, but you're not. You're talking to a bot that gets all and gathers all the information and then delivers that information to someone that processes it. So there is a idea of keeping a human in the loop. All right. And so tonight, I want to answer any questions that you may have. I want to relax you. I want to help you relax on the idea of being afraid of this. And I want you to be similar to Miss Sonia here and myself, where we've decided to embrace it, find out what can we do with it. As a matter of fact, do things we never done before. I just coded a website. I have no clue what coding is. I don't know anything about coding. I never took a class about coding, but because of the interaction I had with this artificial intelligence, I'm able to do so, right?
That's amazing.
Um, yeah, it's phenomenal in the sense of what it does. Now, what's really cool is if I did have that knowledge, now I can do whatever I used to do 7 to 8, 10, 12 times faster than I've ever done it before. And that's the key that I want you guys to get, right? And Sonia, since there's not a lot of people, you can chime in at any time. This is the open forum. You've been doing this for education, and then you have a number of businesses that you've birthed. How many businesses have you birthed as a result of just learning your first engagement with this whole idea of AI through ChatGPT or whatever model or tool that you're using?
Um, it's three right now.
Mm,
Three of them I have right now.
3. And
Yeah.
so uh, if you are sitting at home wondering, like, what can I do to make money? This is the answer for you, okay? Because no matter what it is that you want to do, I mean, let's say you want to design shirt, right? You can do that with this AI. With the systems that are out there, and there's a number of tools we're going to talk about. I'm going to share some things. And let's say you want to write a book. Well, guess what? You can write a book. There has been a company that was doing this a couple of years ago. They released Designer. Designer is spelled design with an R, extra
Mhm.
R.com, where you can actually write an entire book through their system. And
Mhm.
people were doing like cookbooks and just journals and a little bit of stuff like. But
Mhm.
now they have an AI component that allows you to write an entire novel if you want to, right? But what people use them for is small books that they can give away to help generate leads for their customers, or come up with a small book that will help give it to their customer to keep customer loyalty. So I want you to think about, what is it that you do in your everyday work that you would be able to outsource to someone else? And think about that. What is it that you do in your everyday work life that you would be able to say, you know what, somebody else, if they can just do that? Then I want you to think about in your everyday life, like the things that you do on a regular basis. Wake up in the morning, whatever
Mhm,
your routines are, right?
mhm,
And think
mhm,
about what could be outsourced or what could you change on a regular basis. Like let's say you wake up every morning and you have a quote, a Bible verse, right?
mhm,
Well, you have to look in the Bible, pick the Bible verse out, and then come up with a solution. Well, what if someone could look in the Bible, find what you're looking for, because maybe you're looking at faith, that's your term,
mhm,
and they could bring you a faith based quote for your morning to help your routine start,
mhm, mhm,
including a Bible verse to support it, including even a story if you wanted to, right?
mhm,
And you just wake up and now it's delivered to you because you have a system in place to do that. I want you to think about even you got to get up and you're ready to get coffee, right? You could have something, send a message to your coffee maker, tell your coffee maker it's this time. It will make your coffee for you. And when you wake up, all you got to do is your routine and then you walk in the kitchen and your coffee is
It's
made
already ready. Mhm,
ready for you. Okay.
mhm,
Think about this. We were watching the Jetsons years and years and years ago. Well, meet George Jetson, right? It's happening now where all these things are at our fingertips because of artificial intelligence. And so one of the biggest first steps that most people have taken is chat GPT. So let's talk about the big, elephant in the room, right? It was one of the first things that people saw from OpenAI that they can actually write something and it generates an answer. Now it's called generative, right? Generative, because what happens is you have trained it, right? You've given it some information. It's collected all the information in all the world, put it into the supercomputer, and then said, okay, now that I have all this information, what do you want to do with it? In the past, we could just Google something and it would give us a collective answer based on the best option. It'd say, here's all the stuff, here's the best option. That's it. And you would get that, and then you would say, I hope this is a good answer. But what we found out is that people can pay to get their answer in front of everybody else's, right? Because we had a thing called search engine optimization. So they could SEO, they can engine optimize whatever information they have and bring it to the top. Okay. Then what happened in the industry, they said, okay, Google is great, you could ask questions, Bing, you could ask questions. But what if you had someone alongside you to give you a little bit more clarifying answer? Enter Copilot and ChatGPT, right? So Microsoft has Copilot. So when you ask a question, not only is it going to give you the answer that it has, but it's going to generate a whole new answer around that particular thing. And that's where the world has changed. Now, we know that they have what's called robotic agents, right? This is a robot that you program to do a particular function, and it continues that function without any other input. Think about your Roomba, right? You program it, you say, clean my room, you leave it alone, and while you're gone, it's all over your house, cleaning your house, and it doesn't need any input for you. And then when it gets done, it goes, okay, I'm done. My battery's low. And it goes back to its home station and it sits there and it says, okay, I need you to plug me up. And then it recharges, right? Does all that without your input. You just gave it a command and then the rest was up to it. Now we have these what we call GPTs. We have these generative pre-trained technology, right? That now gives us this transformation answer. So it's transforming the information because it's generating based on what it's been pre-trained to do. And that's where GPT comes in, right? They took a chatbot. Hey, I could just ask a question. Hey, Google, right? They connected that with a generative um, process that generates from that collects the answer, collects the information, and generates more and says, here you go. Now, in the past, again, we could Google and we just get what everybody said. Now it can generate an entire brand new piece of content. That's when your business is taken to the next level. Okay. So can I call somebody and say, I need content from my website? Sure, I could. But what if I could just enter a couple of sentences, push a button, and then my GPT says, sure, Dwayne, I can create you a website. How many pages do you want? And if you've trained it right, right, you pre-train it with your voice, your tone, your customer information, your data, it's going to create it from scratch, brand new. And then just ask you, how do you want to connect it? And all you do is connect it and you're in business, right? Outstanding, right? So these are the things that are happening in this world. So when I ask you, what is it that you do on a regular basis that could be outsourced? I'm talking to small business. I'm talking to you as an individual. I'm talking to you in your everyday life, right? What are the things you can do? Generate what? And so I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I started generating. Hopefully it will be inspiring to you. And I'm going to tell you stories along the way on how that goes. So I am a trainer, teacher, and I'm an author. I'm the author of the book, No More Crumbs. It used to be No More Crumbs on the Table. I've, since shortened it to No More Crumbs, celebrating you discovering your tag, your talent, your ability, your gift, and putting it to work in the earth. And it would take hours and hours for me to work with someone to come up with a concept for their own book. They would tell me, Dwayne, I want to write a book. And, I was like, well, what is it going to be about? And they would, pontificate and come up with these, long drawn out stories. And we would be talking for an hour and I charged them by the hour. Okay. But then when they come up with this idea, it's just the beginning of the iceberg. And I would say, okay, so we got this idea. Now, what do you want to do with it? And I would help them generate a book. So self-publishing became a business for me. Then I love photography. I started posting some of my photography and people were giving responses about it. And then the school that I work for asked me, hey, Dwayne, the instructor that was supposed to teach the class for photography hasn't showed up. Could you come and take over the class? And there's 6 students in the class waiting. And I said, sure. I drove to the campus. I took over the class and I've been teaching the class since 2017. Okay. Digital photography. All right. If I'm an instructor, I need to figure out what's the easiest path to help a beginner go from no knowledge at all, from a camera in a box, to actually physically using their camera. So I went to ChatGPT recently and I asked that question. And I asked that question as if I didn't know the answer. Forget what I already created as a course. And I said, here's some information. This is who my client is. This is what I need. And I'm going to show you that in a moment. And it gave me an entire course, deeper dive into some of the other pieces that I hadn't had before, but I think about them, but I didn't have in my course. So I'm going to show you that, right? So those are 2 things that I was doing. Then I thought about coaching. I'm a certified grow coach, and I'm currently in my certification for what's called ICF, International Coaching Federation. The goal for that is to be certified at the highest level for coaching, ICF. It's noted by all the businesses, right? So I can get business clients and, charge them hundreds of dollars to talk. Well, I asked ChatGPT to help me study for the test, the certification test. And I created a GPT specific to me and what I need to learn based on my current situation and giving myself the next 5 to 6 months. And it gave me a tutor. I'm going to show that to you. So I want you, again, think about your case use and your use case. So now, Sonia, you're here. You've created some things around this AI world. whatever you want to share with people. Again, you're here as an observer. I don't expect you to, give out all your, secrets and things like that. But what's happening with you in this space? And is what I'm saying making sense to you?
In actuality, everything that you're saying is making sense. There's really not a limit to anything that I can't think of one thing that I haven't created using AI, from um, creating lessons for my class. I'm a middle school history teacher, from creating those lessons in their projects for the kids to do, ways for teachers to make lesson planning a little bit easier and not so cumbersome, showing them how to create an elevator pitch for your students. Most people think elevator pitches are only for business, but no, an elevator, the object of an elevator pitch is to get somebody excited enough to buy in. And that's what you want your students to do. You want your students to be excited enough to buy in. So with using AI and creating these customized generative pre-trained transformers, I can now create a GPT that a teacher can put in the subject, what they're teaching about, and I need an elevator pitch, to a hook to get these kids in there, and it generates the hook for them. I also do image creation. So I create GPTs for whatever particular image I'm looking for. All the time, you don't see out there what you want. So this is the perfect tool to where now you can build what you want to see. Prior to, let's say, about a year ago, I would spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Etsy in shops like Feathers of Style and all those other
Hmm.
places, getting my clip art so that
Yep.
I can create scenes that I wanted. And my goal back then was always, gosh, what if I could create my own dolls? I want my own dolls because I don't want them to look like all of them look the same. I want them to look different. I want them to do all those things. So when ChatGPT, well, actually, I started really in Playground,
Before
Creative
before
Fabrica,
that,
really.
right? Yeah, Fabrica.
The Spark in Creative Spark in Creative Fabrica. I started there back when they weren't so good back then, and I switched over to Playground, and then I switched over to Midjourney and Lexica. I don't really use Midjourney that much anymore.
Hmm.
I really use Lexica, especially when I'm training newbies on how to prompt and what you're looking for and how to get what you need. I'm using Lexica because Midjourney is a little specific. You have to really, really know what you're doing and how to prompt in order to get what you're looking for in Midjourney. Not so much with Lexica, but then now that I'm able to create my own GPTs, now I don't have to worry about prompting at all. Once I
Right.
created the GPT and someone purchases that GPT from me, it's as simple as pushing a button and it's going to generate
Create.
what you want to see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this thing I've created podcasts. My podcast that'll be coming out next month. I've started setting up my whole podcast, my whole website. Everything has been done pretty much utilizing that GPT, utilizing GPTs and Chat GPT. That's my home. I know they have other ones like Gemini and
Yep.
all those other ones. Was that Copilot? I think that's the, or
That's
is
another
Gemini
one.
Copilot, one of them.
Yep.
Um, I haven't really dabbled much in those because where my home is with ChatGPT, and it's
Hey,
been good to
you
me.
said
So
that I had to
uh,
stay with my homies. I
yeah, I
can't. I
gotta
can't.
gotta
I
gotta stay gotta stay with what's generating for me.
Yeah.
There's a
Uh,
learning
uh,
curve with some of the others.
I was looking at a AI newsletter, and the newsletter said what AI can do today, right? And
Yeah,
all you need to do is say, I want to do this. So I can actually look in it and say, I want branding. So that means
yeah,
logo and all the designs,
yeah,
etc.
yeah.
You talked about prompt, and I want to sit there for a second because, ladies and gentlemen, that is the key, right?
It is.
You heard people say, "Oh, it's terrible. It don't do this. It don't do that. It can't do this. It can't do that." And the reason is because they were putting trash, garbage in, garbage out. They were putting in like, "Give me this," like as if they're like just like bullying them to do a certain thing, as opposed to a prompt is a specific design question designed to get you the result that you want. Now, the cool thing is you can ask it
Mhm,
to tell you
mhm.
what to say in the prompt so
To
you
get you
get the
what you want.
result.
Right, right.
And what you heard Sonia talk about is this idea of it revolutionized that customized engagement with her business. She,
Yes.
everything looked the same. It kind of had the same frame, looks, but she's like, I want something more unique for my customer.
Mhm.
And it was this idea of, hey, let me use this system, let me prompt it out and make it work. I was an early adopter of Midjourney myself. I found it to be terrible for words, so I always had words that needed to be on my images. So I
Mhm.
just kind of scrapped it and put it to the side, and I never haven't been back to it since. However, recently I've been told that it's so much better now
It
that
is, it is,
it's like I can't wait to go
it is.
back in
It's
there.
much
But I'm
better. It's much better.
but I want to sit on this other thing that you said because right now I just pulled up on my phone. You can't see it here, but it's a list, guys. A list. Oh, you can't see it that way either because it's too much bright. But create company logo, generate a favicon, provide a logo ownership, download a logo, boost trust, analyze your idea, create logos, design an email signature, design a social media kit, save time, offer a unique proposition, provide brand clarity, offer brand guidelines, brand identity craft. These are all different systems
Mhm,
that can get you that result.
mhm,
What you heard Sonia talk about is custom generative uh, 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 she created her own GPTs,
mhm,
right? And when you create your own GPT, right? Generative Pre-trained Transformer,
mhm,
right? And we want to make sure we use those words so you understand we're not talking about other things. But when you're doing that, you can create it. So you give it like all of the things that it needs to do.
mhm,
You tell it exactly what you want the result to be, and there's a way to do that. It's
mhm,
not like you just ask one question, but there's
mhm,
a systematic way that you have a conversation with it,
mhm,
and then it creates this model that you now have a template
mhm,
that when you give it to your customer, all your customer has to do is push one button.
mhm.
Don't even have to put a prompt
Right.
because it already knows what it's made for.
Right, right. And that's
That's
the beautiful thing
phenomenal.
about I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, no,
that's the
that's
beautiful
phenomenal.
thing about the customized GPTs. What you will find is you will find a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, you don't need to do that. You could just ask Chat GPT to do such and such and such and such." Well, and this is what I will say to them. Yes, you could. You
Hmm.
can ask, but if you
1000%.
don't know, and it's going to give you something because that's the nature of the program. That's what it's designed to do. But if you don't know specifically, this it's like I like to explain it like this. It's like going from the highway to your street to your driveway. Your
Yes,
specific house
I
right
love it.
in here to give you exactly what you want all the time. You can go to it and ask it anything, and it's going to pull from its vast amount of knowledge
Yes,
because the knowledge base for this for ChatGPT and any of the other ones like Copilot and all those, it's so vast. So
yes,
that's where you start with the garbage in, garbage out. You just say, hey, give me a so and so, give me a lesson plan on nouns. And it's going to give you one.
right.
It's not going to be specified to the types of nouns that you need, the grade level that you're working with, the standards for your particular school, your
Mm,
activities, specific activities that you need to do, all those
yes,
different things. So that's where that customization comes in. And that's why it's imperative that you know, and that not only that, but even in business, when you are trying to create social media content. Give me some social media content. It's going to give it to you, but
hmm,
is it the social media content that is within your brand? Because
right.
you need to
And your
understand,
voice.
right, and your voice. You need to understand what your brand is because that's what you're putting out for the people to see. You don't want every time they see you. When you see McDonald's, McDonald's
You
is
know exactly
McDonald's
what
all
it
the time. You
is.
know exactly what it is. You never have to hear anything. So, not saying that all of your stuff has to look alike, but all of your stuff needs to be uniform. So, when you're asking ChatGPT to do something for you, there is a certain set of uniformity that you need to have. So, when you
Right.
spoke about training chat gpt in order to get it to give you exactly what you need, those things are imperative in order to use it correctly.
And so if you guys don't know what that is, that's what we're going to be able to show you. We're going to be able to teach you. We're going to be able to guide you. We're going to be able to give you that secret sauce, that special sauce, right? Because how to do that is not just a general conversation. There are some very specific strategic ways to have that conversation with the interface so that you get what Sonia's talking about. See, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. If you have children, and she's an educator, and I have a daughter who's an educator, and it's crazy, right? Because some of the kids, they're all in the same class, but they don't always work and learn at the same pace. I happen to have been one of those kids where I was way ahead of my counterparts, and they were like, "This kid needs to go to the second or third grade." When I went to first grade, but my mom said I was going to get beat up by the bigger kids, so she wouldn't let
Mhm,
me go. But I know that there are kids in the room that they're learning at a different pace. What's
mhm.
amazing is Sonia, as an educator and other educators, you can use this process to
All the
specifically
same.
create
Mhm,
a lesson for Bobby.
mhm,
And it's not going to take you all night and your next morning to put all that together. You're going to do this stuff in
mhm,
seconds, right?
mhm,
So think about how long you spent putting a lesson plan together for your
mhm,
homeschool, right? There's a whole bunch of people homeschooling their kids, and they're buying curriculums, and they get the curriculum and they go, "Oh my God, I don't want to teach them this."
mhm,
Well, you don't have to now. You have a way that if you could take that standard and upload that standard and take your voice and even put your name in it where it says mommy said two
mhm,
plus two equal two, or whatever, four,
mhm,
that's what's gonna happen. But let me go ahead and show you guys some stuff based on what we've been sharing and talking about. So I'm gonna share my my page real quick, just so you can get a glimpse of some things. And I'm going from the first one I ever did was a home business marketing deal, right? So I said, okay, I wanted to know more about demographics and home information. And I said, okay, please tell me the best social graphics for people who have a small business at home but need a marketing plan to get more money. And it says, certainly, here are some key strategies. Da, 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 typically, individuals aged 25 to 45, family status, education level, industry, technology, proficiency, income level, location, all these different things, budget, marketing budget, and the niche. Then I said, based upon this information you just shared with me, what is the home-based business marketing demographics for people who will watch a YouTube video or click a Facebook advertisement? Very specific, right? Demographics of the people. They told me primarily they're going to be this age, they're going to be this gender. They gave me some more, I'm digging deeper, right? So, and this before I knew anything about any real framework on how to communicate with Chat GPT. Based upon the answer, who's the best individual to target with a YouTube ad or a Facebook ad? Please give me the demographic information. And they said, okay, here he is. All right, 40, 30 to 45. Da, 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 and it gave me gender, both men and women, but stronger on the gender for women for businesses, and then gave me household income. Again, now all I need to do is take this information, and now I go into the Facebook marketing, and now I have all the key elements to advertise my business. That was just not even knowing. It didn't have my voice yet. It didn't know anything about what I wanted to do, etc. I want to go up to today, right? So I was talking to a friend and I said, okay, well, what do you want to do about this um this they have this thing called Faith Man, right? And so I said, okay, so what are you going to do? And they said, well, we want to, build out our business. And I said, okay, well, let's get you some uh actual social media stuff. And so I said, okay, faith motion is dedicated to sharing the principle of faith. You activate your faith by your belief. And this was taking their mission statement. People are talking about manifesting all over the internet. But what can we get from there? He said, okay, here are two different types of ideas with a narrative. And they created me 45-second and 60-second commercial ideas. I said, great. Here's the script. Faith always work, activated. So they created me an entire script. And then I said, okay, great. Let me generate a video. And it generated me a video on faith always work, activate your belief. And I was able to help this client take this video and now have it on their YouTube channel. They didn't even have anything on their YouTube channel. And I was able to do that using this Chat GPT video maker. Okay. Now, when we talked about custom GPTs, I want to talk to you about the one I created for scholarships. I had this thought in my head. I said, okay, well, can I help high school graduates find scholarships? Because my nephew is about to, he graduated college. I mean, he graduated high school, and he was like, I only got 45,000, and I need another $8,000 for, so I don't have to work a job. And I said, okay, well, let's see if we can get Chat GPT to help us identify some scholarships. So I created a custom GPT, and all you had to do is put your information in there. And it said, how do I find scholarships for STEM fields? What are the deadlines for scholarships? Can you help me understand the scholarship? What tips do you have? And these are like the questions that you can ask, right? And then all I had to do is put like nothing in here, just hit the button, right? And it'll start generating information for me. Okay, how can I help you today? Are you looking for a specific scholarship? So I'm going to say math. I'm going to say science, right? And I'm going to say animal science. I'm going to say animal science because that's more specific. I didn't say any particular animal. Animal science. It's going to ask me more because I trained it to ask me questions in a certain way. Okay. And now it's giving me professional organization, agriculture, and specific scholarships, online scholarship database, community specific scholarships, and example scholarships to explore. I asked it to give me what's the local, what's the national, and what's the regional, and then any tips. I put that all in there so that it gives me and generates this for me. So now it tells me start early, tailor your applications, get involved, seek letters or recommendation. It gave me examples to explore where I can go and look. It gave me some other places to go. Zoesis, American Quarter Horse Foundation Scholarship, National Veterinarian Medical Foundation, all this information, guys, because I was able to customize it specific to students graduating from high school, and then they can just go in and use it and get started. What it does is it gets them out of that blank looking at the screen situation to actually action and activate. And I have a thing called, execute. Don't just talk about it, execute it, right? And so now I can tell my students, here's something you can use to execute a plan. So Sonia, you have also been through this process where you created something specific for, if you can share any one of them that's not going to be, you're, sharing too much of your information. Would
Mhm.
you, what would you say about what I just shared?
Actually, that GPT, I mean, that what you did would be great. What now? See, the step that I would take further would be to take that information that you just put it in a customized GPT, so that you wouldn't have to ask it any questions. It knows automatically to start to ask you questions about what it is that you need from it. I could, let's see if I have a practice one that I could show you. Uh, Okay, if you have to allow me to share the screen.
Okay, let me do that because I was only on one participant. You should be able
And
to
while
now.
I'm waiting on that, I'll go ahead and go ahead and pull up on my Google Docs. And then we'll get right to it. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see, let's go in here. Okay, I know which ones I could work with.
And I appreciate you doing that. We're going
Oh,
to go only up to 9 o'clock instead of 10, just because of the time and the fact that we didn't get a lot of registrants. But I think this is a good start for people.
oh yeah, this is a great start. This is a great start because people can always, they can always go back and double check, just to kind of see some things. Okay, so let me come back to the Zoom and then I can share my screen. And what this is just one of these are just a few of the GPTs that I actually gave away when I was working. I did a workshop about
Awesome.
a month or so ago. So let's talk about um, let's go into your niche navigator, because a lot of people when they're getting into this thing, they really don't even know what they want to do, right? So with the niche navigator, this particular GPT here is a GPT that is designed to be a step-by-step entrepreneurial guide to walk someone through. I want to find out, I have an idea, I want to start a business, but I really don't know what to do. So you can really go here and say, I want to start a digital business, but I don't know what to do. And so now it's going to walk through it and tell you exactly. And see, now this particular GPT, the difference between the two is now it's going to start to ask me questions. I don't have
Right.
to ask it anything. It's going to
Right.
give me everything that I need to give it so it can tell
Hmm.
me what I want. Like, what are some activities or topics I'm passionate about? Let's see. I love creating digital images. Okay, so now it's going to start kicking out some things that I can do.
Yep.
These are all the things that you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do this, you want to do that. Which of these resonates with you the most? And I can just simply say, let's do
Number
number
four.
two.
Oh,
Number
two.
four?
Okay.
Okay.
Two.
We'll
Stock
do,
images.
you want to do
Okay.
four? Okay, let's do two.
Okay.
Let's stick that in there. And so now it's going to tell me that this could be a profitable and scalable business.
Mm.
Now, what type of stock images do you want to create? Nature, technology, business, and life. Research popular stock image platforms to see what types of images are in demand. So
Hmm.
not only is it telling you what you can do, it's telling you where you can go to get your background.
Yep.
So you're not quite sure which ones you want to do, go look over here at these image stock websites, and then you can see. Now let's start to build your portfolio. Start creating high quality images in your chosen niche. Ensure that they're unique, well composed, and they meet the technical requirements of stock image platforms. And then sign up for multiple stock image platforms to increase your reach. Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, iStock, Getty Images. And then it tells you optimize your images, promote your work, keep improving. Does this plan sound good to you?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Please give me uh, a checklist, things to do for this niche. And so now it's going to kick out a checklist
Yep.
of these are the things you need to make sure that you do. Okay, let's regenerate. Sometimes that
And
happens.
guys, sometimes that happens. The arrow will come up. All you gotta do is
Just
refresh or
regenerate.
have it, and it'll generate. So don't get. Oh my God, it's not working.
Yeah,
It's
it's
working.
working.
Believe me.
Yeah, and it'll just kick out those. Now, this is your checklist. I have identified my niche. I have, did my I mean, and you can go as deep as you want to go with this
Yep.
thing. I mean, with myself, um, I've been doing it for a minute. So my thing might be for a client, I might say, give me my SMART goals for this niche.
And you guys notice that she said SMART goals. Remember, SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, time-bound. And
Mhm,
there are some other words that people use for those things, but the main thing, it has to be specific. You have to be able to measure your success. If you don't measure, you don't know if you made it. Okay. You don't measure, you don't know if you made it. Then action oriented is not just thinking about it. Here are some things, some activities, right? So it's going to give you some steps to actually take. And then it's realistic based on the goal that you already set. And of course, there's going to be a time that you should have reached it, right? You shouldn't be out there,
mhm,
trying to figure it out. It says here, post 3 times per week and engage with other users' content daily. Gives you
mhm,
that. This should always get you up to 6 months, right? So it's
mhm,
telling you specific, measurable stuff. And what's cool about this is really cool. What you did, Sonia, is it actually writes it right out. Complete the course within
yeah,
two
tells you
months.
exactly
You can
step
see
by step.
each one, and not just the step itself, but the smart step, right? Because you got enroll in the online photography class, com complete the course, apply for the techniques, improve your images, allocate
Mhm,
time every week. And of course, if you wanted to go deeper, you could say, how much time should I have
yeah,
this much time? How much time? All
yeah,
right. So we're about almost done. We're about to wrap up. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as Sonia was telling you, you can have it where you don't even have to prompt it. You just hit it and it
mhm,
goes, or you prompt it with a question and then it
mhm,
slowly gives you what you need, because some things you want it not to just blast everything and give you the whole
mhm,
thing. You want
mhm,
it to give you a little bit at a time to allow you to digest and think about the question, think about the answer, think about what you want. And so that's just part of what you will learn if you decide to come to our there's going to be a 3-day workshop that's going to be coming up behind this. And that 3-day workshop is going to be myself and others that I invite to really go deeper on these topics. Okay. So I'm about to wrap up, but I just wanted to show you what she's talking about, these images, right? Well, let me show a couple of images just to kind of, whet your appetite for that. So I'm working on a project with youth, and I needed to create something for young people to, you know, uh, talk about their mental health. And so I saw this photo right here and I was like, man, how do I make one of these? Right. And so I reached out to the person who had posted it and I said, I'm going to create another one. And I created this one just by talking to the person, asking them 2 questions. And I said, well, I'm going to use you as the person, because she was wearing braids and she had glasses. And I said, I'm going to tell it this. And I gave it this image, and it created this cool Pixar image, right? And now I can use this image. It's my image. I can use it for the front cover of a book. I can use it for a number of different things, right? And I thought that was just phenomenal in the way it generated certain things. It even gave us a little hair highlights and things like that. So you guys, you can just, it's so many different things that you can create with this. Okay. I wanted to do a movie. So I said, well, I wonder if it would do a movie, right? So I did this
mhm,
illustrated movie. This was just a
I've made it.
photo.
Speaking to Dr. Eleanor gave me clarity. My work with the youth is important. Speaking internationally on AI. Wow, I really have made it. Thanks, Alicia.
All right. So
mhm,
these are things, that was a stagnant photo that I illustrated after the fact. And then I put a AI voice, I generated a new voice, and then I put the voice in it, and then I turned it into a short movie short. Okay. Think about entering your work in these independent film events that's happening all over the world. I'm currently about to, I'm working with someone, and I had wrote a script years and years ago, a movie script. And we were talking about doing it as a movie for Tubi. And when Soror, I went to a event a week and a half ago, and they showed this upcoming AI movie, magnificent AI generator that's going to take words and generate it into a movie. I'm waiting for it, because when it gets released to the public, I'm just going to give it my script, my characters, and things of that nature, and I'm going to do it myself. And I'm going to produce it specifically for the internet. So I think people will watch it. I think they're more accustomed to it and they're looking for things like that. Well, we're going to wrap up. I want to say thank you, Sonia, for being there. You know what? I didn't know you were in Houston. I'm gonna be in Houston next week, actually.
Okay,
I gotta
cool.
be out that way. I'll talk to you offline about why I had to be there or whatever. But listen, everybody, this has been a cool time moment to just kind of get some stuff together, get something in front of you to let you know what's going on. Don't sleep on this. If you ever wanted to catch a wave that was really, really happening, it's swelling as you speak. It's growing as we talk. It is so many different options out there for you, and you need to take advantage. Be the one on your job who's the know the knowledge bearer. Okay,
Mhm,
you could
mhm.
be that subject matter expert around whatever those techniques that you need to learn for your business. If it's just looking at inventory, you might be able to save your company thousands of dollars by using this and analyzing the data and finding out that we've been getting too many such and such bread and we need a different kind of bread or whatever it may be. And then you can give them the qualified information and say, here's what we need to do and here's where we could save. And I saved you $20,000. Then you could ask for a raise. All right. Well, Sonia, thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
This
you're
is
welcome.
Earn AI. I'm glad she was here to just give me another voice in the room. But listen, my name is Dwayne Ross. I'm the author of the book, No More Crumbs, celebrating you, discovering your tag, your talent, your ability, your gift, and putting it to work in the earth. It's time for you to share your greatness. I'll see you on the next page, the next post, the next YouTube video, or the next live. And I hope to see you in the next AI course that's coming up. Talk to you later. Take care.